I have been editing videos for over 10 years now, and on YouTube I often come across drastic editing mistakes, especially among small YouTubers, which ultimately lead to your viewers switching off and not finishing your video. But how do I know this? Well, I've made all of these mistakes myself. That's why I decided to sit down and completely re-edit an old video of mine from over 3 years ago, eliminating 5 mistakes I made back then. Because this video is essentially a really good one in terms of content, but the execution was so terrible that it failed miserably. So in this video, I will show you these 5 mistakes and most importantly, how to fix them so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did in the past. Let's start with probably the most drastic mistake, which is the beginning of the video. Because the video starts like this. Okay, honestly, as a viewer, I would have switched off long ago, and we haven't even gotten through the cinematic sequence yet. This is a prime example of a sequence of shots that lacks motivation. Because cinematic sequences and cutaway shots are not inherently wrong. YouTubers like Peter McKinnon work with them a lot, but they should contribute to the story and not be randomly inserted without any motivation. No wonder that after 25 seconds, almost half of the viewers have already switched off. Let's move on to mistake number 2, and before I reveal what's the mistake here, I'll let you guess, because what's wrong here is really the ultimate killer for your retention rate. And if you manage to identify and eliminate this in your own content, it will significantly improve your videos.
Gear does not matter. Macht euch nicht so viele Gedanken über euer Equipment. Ich habe mir gerade als Anfänger in der Fotografie wirklich extrem viele Gedanken darüber gemacht. Was ist jetzt vielleicht die beste Kamera? Was ist das geilste Objektiv? Wo muss ich vielleicht Geld ausgeben? Was sollte ich mir ansparen?
So, did you notice it? Essentially, I said the exact same thing 4 times, just worded slightly differently. So, let's cut out all of that nonsense. Voila, a sequence that was previously 56 seconds long, I shortened to 26 seconds. And now you decide, does the point I wanted to make still come across even though I cut out more than half of it?
Gear does not matter. Klar, natürlich, mit einer besseren Kamera kann man letztendlich auch bessere Bilder machen. Aber ihr könnt einem absoluten Anfänger eine noch so gute Kamera in die Hand geben, da werden keine guten Bilder bei rauskommen. Und andersrum ganz genauso. Denn was der Profifotograf braucht, um geile Fotos zu machen, ist nicht die teuerste Kamera ever. Es ist vor allem Erfahrung. Und diese Erfahrung kriegt man nur durchs Ausprobieren und durchs Machen.
Let's get to the next big point, which is pacing, which is often misunderstood as we need to make our video as fast as possible, which is not necessarily true. Pacing is primarily about making your videos smooth, not necessarily fast. But what the heck do I mean by smooth? This is a normal cut, and the transition from one clip to the next one is not particularly smooth because I stop talking here and I suddenly start talking again here. And although there is no concrete pause between the 2 clips, the flow of speech is still interrupted. But this can easily be fixed with a technique called a J-cut, which essentially means starting the audio of the second clip before the first one ends. And it's called a J-cut because it looks like the letter J. And this creates a consistent flow of speech without constant interruptions. Let me show you a comparison.
Aber ihr könnt einem absoluten Anfänger eine noch so gute Kamera in die Hand geben, da werden keine guten Bilder bei rauskommen. Und andersrum ganz genauso. Aber ihr könnt einem absoluten Anfänger eine noch so gute Kamera in die Hand geben, da werden keine guten Bilder bei rauskommen. Und andersrum ganz genauso.
However, you shouldn't overuse J-cuts either. Because as I mentioned before, it's not about making your video as fast as possible, because your viewers won't be able to keep up. It should feel smooth and natural though. Another major problem with talking headshots, where you're just sitting in front of the camera and talking, is that they quickly become visually boring because all the viewers see is you. The most sensible solution would be to overlay B-roll footage that visually supports what you're actually saying. But even if you can't think of suitable B-roll, there are still various tricks you can use to make your talking headshots more engaging and add more excitement to the visuals. The simplest way is to slightly zoom in and out of the frame. However, you should make sure that your eyes remain at the same level, because otherwise it may feel unnatural. You can use the rulers and guides feature to draw a line across your eyes and ensure consistency here. So when you zoom in during editing, you can adjust the eyes to the same level, resulting in a natural looking zoom. However, there's still a huge problem with the introduction of the video because it's still pretty terrible. To fix this problem and learn how successful YouTubers write their introductions, I watched a bunch of videos by TomatoLix and identified 5 principles behind his successful introductions. So you should definitely watch this video next because I'll show you those 5 principles in detail.